What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin Bees. I'm a wife, a mom, a military veteran, and I spent 13 and a half years in multi-level marketing. I've healed my way out of that, and now I'm using all of my social media platforms to educate and raise awareness around the dangers and the tactics of multi-level marketing companies and the people that are participating in it. And I'm pretty excited about today's video. Quick little backstory, because today is going to be a long one. This is going to be a two-part series. So the second video will be coming out later this week. And let me just take a deep breath real quick. Backstory. This is actually a video that Isabella has covered, and she did a phenomenal job. And I know since so many of you have reached out and asked for my commentary on it, I am a huge courtesy is huge with me. And so I reached out to Isabella and was like, hey, how do you feel about me reacting to this video? I know you just put it out. Want to make sure that it's cool. I want to make sure things are on the level. And she was like, oh my God, yes. And actually mentioned that she was thinking about me at parts when she was watching this, because she knows from me telling my story that I had moments when I was in an MLM that I felt very similar to what we're going to watch today. And so, and many of you reached out, and I appreciate that so much. So we're going to react. You guys know how this goes. Drop your commentary below. You can check out my podcast, social media. Here's my handles. You guys know all of that: podcast, merch, link in the video description, all of that stuff. So I don't want to take up a lot of time because this is going to be kind of a longer video. So let's just get into it. This is a leader in the company called Pomifera. And she is basically going to be having a conversation with her audience, which I love, on two different categories in multi-level marketing companies. Is essentially what this is going to be breaking down into. People that are very team focused, people that are very heavily recruiting or attempting to, and then people that just want to sell products. And so I definitely am going to have a lot of commentary to give you guys. I definitely have some thoughts. I did watch Isabella's video. I thought she did a great job. I'm going to actually put that in the cards here. So if you have not watched hers, go see what she has to say about it too. And just shout out to Isabella for being so incredible. So, all right, let's get into it.
Okay. So that post I made yesterday, it had gotten a lot of engagement on the post, but then engagement also in my inbox, engagement also in my text messages. And I kind of just want to speak on this just because I don't even know how to start this. I've been an MLM for 5 years. Okay. And in the 5 years that I've been in MLM, I have been very team focused, and I want to make sure everyone understands what this means, because there is a very big difference. Whenever I say team focused, I mean I was a top enroller in every single company that I was with. I personally enrolled like almost 200 people into the business model. I done all the team things. I done all the leadership things. I had my own team group. I done the team Zooms, I done the coaching calls, I done the challenges, like I done all of that. I've done all of it in almost every company I've been in. I've been a top leader. I've walked the stage. I've been an executive. I've earned the trips. Like I've been there, done that, won the trophy in that situation. And it wasn't until recently when I really started to kind of just realized how taxing it is on mental health. Not only, I don't even like talking about this because I don't even know how to get my words out, but not only because just the workload in general, but just because of the insecurity of it all, like just not knowing, like I'm going to be blunt and honest with you guys. If you're in MLM and your income is very it's a very team heavy, like you're earning that income off of your team, your paycheck is based on volunteers, because at the end of the day, people don't have to be in direct sales. They can opt out at any time, and it's not like a job. Like it's not like a business model where they're required to be there. Like they don't got to be.
I agree with this completely. I also did the things that she's mentioned, the groups, the one-on-one coaching, the team training, the challenges, all of those things, absolutely. And they do take up a lot of time. I agree with what she's saying about, I used to call it like a volunteer army, because it's essentially what people in MLM have, those that are really, trying to recruit. And I think the way that it was always explained to me in multiple companies is, well, if you want to take full advantage of this comp plan, you want to sell the products and you also want to recruit. And the volunteer army thing, absolutely. There is such a high turnover rate when it comes to multi-level marketing that's why a lot of them talk about, well, when you recruit, you want to get them recruiting one person as well, so that they're replacing themselves. That's been told to me by several people when I was participating in multi-level marketing. And she's accurate. And if they decide, well, this isn't for me, I don't like this, I didn't know that this was going to be time consuming, I thought I was getting time freedom, all of those types of things. If your paycheck, which many of these leaders that you see on anti-MLM channels and stuff like that, they are very, very dependent, in my opinion, on the income that they're making from their team, the income that they are making off of their team. I do also think that there is a little bit of, with some of them, guilt. And I'll just kind of speak for myself on this part, and we'll probably get into this a little bit more later, but I used to feel like, well, I am making all of this money off of what they're doing. And so there was this pressure and this guilt, and I have to serve them. I have to really help them. And I wanted to help them, but it was almost like this guilt. And that's not something that a lot of people talk about. And that's why, in my opinion, I think that's where that servant leadership term gets thrown out. So if you're team heavy, if your money that you're making in multi-level marketing, because you're the top of your pyramid, is coming from the majority of it coming from your team, and you lose legs, which happens all the time, you're not going to be making the money that you were because the team left. So yeah, I agree with her on this.
So just the overall stress of that insecurity being there, not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing what's next, not knowing. And honestly, not only that, but again, just how do I even say it? I don't even know where I'm going with this. Just the mental tax of it all. That's the word I'm going to use. And I think there's two sides to MLM. 110%. And my eyes were just opened to the other side of it very recently. I think there's two sides to it. I think you have your people in MLM who join direct sales genuinely because they love the product that they're selling. Genuinely because they love the product that they're selling, and they just want to go sell the product. And that's it, right? Like, they tried this product. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this. I want to share this. This is a good product. It's worked for me. If it works for me, it can work for other people. You have those people. And then you have people who sell the opportunity. And these are two completely different sides to it.
I agree with what she's saying to a certain extent. Let's not forget that both of these groups of people that she's talking about are in a multi-level marketing company, multi-level marketing. So yes, there are probably these two types of demographics within multi-level marketing companies. There are people that love the products and just want to share the products with whomever, whenever, in a way that feels good to them. Cool. There's another group of people that are heavily into recruiting. In my opinion, a lot of, I don't even want to say that. I'm just going to say it. There's a lot of people on social media that are really trying to recruit. This could be, here's a couple scenarios. It could be somebody trying to move up the ranks because they see that there's more money on the recruiting side of the comp plan, the team building side of the comp plan. Most of these companies have two different sides of the comp plan, like I talked about a few minutes ago. And so there's those people that in my opinion, I think this is where we see some of the really aggressive type reels and TikToks and videos and posts. I think that's kind of where that comes from, is they're frustrated in a sense, not all of them. And again, this is just based on my experience. And they're trying to get the message out that, hey, you can do this, but it's really coming from a place of they need more people in their volunteer army so that they can make more money. So I think there's that. But I also think that there's people within multi-level marketing companies that they do like the product and their leader wants to make more money and that leader needs this person to recruit. And so there's this kind of pressure. So I don't really think that there's a black and white when it comes to this. I see where she's coming from. I understand where she's coming from, but I think that there's a lot more scenarios when it comes to this. People that are trying to replicate, what their leader is doing because their leader is like, hey, I want to make more money. And yeah.
You have people who sell products and you have people who sell opportunity. What happens is where the black and white turns gray is whenever the people who came here to sell products that they love get mixed in with this over here. And they look at top leaders and they look at these big teams and they think, what I'm doing isn't good enough. I need to go and build a team because that's what she's doing. And she's making all this money and she looks happy and she's going on all these trips and all of this. And then those lines get blurred and then the product no longer becomes enough. Does that make sense? That is the toxic side of it. And I hate to call it for what it is, but it is. And I know that people who are like you have your die-hard MLMers and then you have your die-hard, I'm just here selling a product people. I know the die-hard MLMers will come at me and say that that's a scarcity mindset or that's negative or whatever.
Well, the reason that the MLMers would come after her, and I don't know if they have, I'm sure that when she was talking about engagement and stuff earlier in this video, I'm sure she's had some very interesting conversations with people in her company and her leaders and some team members and stuff like that. However, the reason that they would be coming after her, in my opinion, is because she's saying the quiet part out loud. This is the stuff that leaders, in my opinion, have a hard time with. You are pouring into this team and you're trying to do the right thing and you're trying to help these people build a business, but the entire formula of the company, the business building formula, is only going to reward the top people in the company. And this was one of the big things that I had an issue with when it came to multi-level marketing. Was it didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter how many Zooms I did. It didn't matter how many one-on-one coaching sessions I did with our team members. They were not going to move forward, not because of them, not because of, not getting effective coaching for me or me not helping them with social media or whatever. It was because of the business model. And that was one of the big breaking points for me. There were several of them. Just picture like things being stacked. This was one of the big ones for me. Was I realized, well, no matter what I do, they're not going to move forward. How can I be a part of this? So I do agree with what she's saying about it being toxic. I don't think that you can really separate the two. I think there's two different intentions, but it's still in that same business model. I hope this is making sense. But I do think that the team building, the activities behind it, the way that, the lifestyle posts and different things like that are put out there is to recruit people to move yourself forward. That part is very toxic, in my opinion, because of how it's presented. Well, you could do this in the pockets of your day. You could make an extra whatever. Look at me with my verified 6-figure check or whatever the case may be. That part of it is very toxic. I agree. But I think overall, it's toxic. And I think that if you're somebody that wants to sell products and you want to do it the way that you want to do, just step into affiliate marketing. That's how I feel about it.
Don't do it. I want to challenge you and I want to ask you, have you ever questioned if you telling yourself that is toxic, right? But that's the two sides of it. And I've been in situations just time and time again where it's like, you build this huge team. And I've seen situations where it's like you build this huge team and, you know, and since that team is built on recruiting and since that team is built on, well, let's sell the opportunity and let's not focus on the product, right? Like, let's sell the opportunity. Since it's focused on that, what happens is it creates this cult-like, it's a bit cultish after being in and out of it. It creates that. That's what it creates, is this cult-like image. And then you get away from the whole reason you're here and the whole reason you make money, which is because you sell a good product. And then you start trying to sell the opportunity and you start trying to recruit people into the business model. And then that becomes the focus. And this is where the lines get blurred. And this is when anti-MLM comes in. Because I'm not naive enough to think that they don't have valid points. They 100% have valid points. If you guys haven't researched it, you can go ahead and do so. I ain't gatekeeping.
I love this so much. I love the fact that she's like, listen, go research anti-MLM, go find your answers, because the majority of MLM leaders are not going to do this. We see that, instead they, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Anyways, I want to address what she said. The behaviors where you are so focused on the opportunity, selling the opportunity, is the priority, and it becomes cultish. Yes, I agree with that, but I think that maybe the way that I want to describe that is, I think that's where they try to duplicate. In multi-level marketing, they think that if everybody is posting the same things, if they're following, using the scripts, if they're using the, 4-2-1 posting strategy, four posts are just kind of, random, whatever about your life, your kids, your hobbies, those types of things, two times a week or whatever you're posting about, the products, and then one time a week you're posting about the opportunity, or it's like a hard sell type of post. And I think that this is where duplication and why we see some of the things that we do. I think this is the basis, again, my opinion, of Eric Worre's mastermind, because of the duplication that happens within that. All the leaders get together, they share their best ideas, then they flood the markets, and that's where we see a lot of these posts that are kind of the same thing. When you're repeating language like that, in my opinion, you're removing the personality. You're removing the individual, what they're about, how they want to sell a product, how they want to do that. And I think that is where a lot of the behavior is kind of culty that we see. So I just wanted to add that.
I ain't gonna gaslight nobody. If you want to go research it, you can do so. Go ahead. I've been in companies that have like gate capped, and they're like, no, that's a negative mindset. Don't invest your energy on things like that. And it's like, no, I'm going to. I want to see all sides, right? And I just encourage everyone to do that too. I also want to say I didn't leave MLM. I'm here to sell products that I love. I just genuinely love these products. A lot of people messaged me yesterday and they're like, why did you leave? Why did you leave? Because another huge leader in my company stepped down. And I'm like, I didn't leave. Like, I'm just here. I'm just here trying to sell products that I love.
I think she's super cute, you guys. And I love, like, this conversation is so refreshing. One, it's because she's being fully transparent. That's sales. If you're selling something, there should be transparency. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm taking. This is how I use it. This is what it's good for, and you're sharing all of that stuff. what we see within MLM is they'll put up this vague post. I'm saying this because I used to do it. They put up this vague post. They make these claims. Oh, it can do this, it can do that, and all of those types of things. And then they don't give any information about the product, and they're waiting for people to respond. They're literally like this, like, this is good. Like the before and after pictures, they're gonna go after this, and they're watching the comments. And this is where we see, oh, I'll message you. And in my opinion, I've said this before, I feel like it's a way to control the conversation. They don't want people going to Google, because a lot of their products you're going to find, in my opinion, on Amazon, on eBay, all of these other places, swap groups on Facebook, stuff like that. And they don't want that. They want you to buy from them, because they want you to buy from them, because they make the commission, or you join their team, they make that weekly bonus if it's like it was, improve it. So this is refreshing. This is a refreshing conversation. And I'll save, of course, all of my real opinions on her until the end.
I didn't go nowhere. Like, I'm still here. I just could no longer partake in that side of it, because what happens is, like, you have this team of people and they look up to you, and they look to you to lead them to where they look to you to lead them to where you are, right? And the only way, and if you're team focused heavily, like if you're recruiting before you're selling, the only way you can do that is to teach them how to recruit, because you've not built that type of income on sales yet, right? And it creates this whole thing of, like, whenever one person leaves, the sky is falling, because no one was actually here for the product to begin with. And this is whenever you start seeing, like, people hopping and people jumping and people being loyal to their upline, and people going every which direction, because they think, like, they're fearful. They're fearful of, well, this person has influence on my income. My team's going to go with them, so I need to go too.
And that's why we see some of the ugly stuff. That's why we see what company was it recently? I think it was Mona. You guys know I say it that way. But I think it was Mona, and I think it was a leader that was like, listen, the way that you build in this is you stick with the company, you ride through all of the seasons, you don't go to other companies, because she was losing a large chunk of her income. I don't remember whose video that was. Shout out to you, because that was incredible. And that is why we see some of the ugly behavior, is because these team leaders that are making a lot of money off of the backs of their teams know that they have to keep those plates spinning. If the plates stop spinning and they lose plates, they are going to lose large chunks of income. So yeah.
So I don't lose my income. And then it's like a fear-mongering situation, and it's chaos, and it's just so unhealthy. And I hope everyone sees how unhealthy that is, because then you're scared. Like, you're scared for your income, you're scared for your team, you're scared for the future, you don't know what's going to happen. Whereas if you would have just been there to sell products that you love and believe in the first place, you wouldn't even have to worry about all that, right? Like, and I refuse to believe, as long as I've been in this business, as many people as I've worked with, as many leaders I've collaborated with, I refuse to believe that there is such thing as balance. Someone could come at me, if you're like a pro MLMer, come at me with anything that you got, because I probably got an answer for it. I probably got to come back for it, because let me see your screen time. Screenshot it and send it to me, because I, honest to God, do not believe that there is such thing in this industry. Whenever it comes to, you're either heavily sales focused or you're heavily team focused. If you're sales focused, you're doing a dang lot better job than what people are over here, because these people are stressed the hell out, and they are scared for their income at all hours of the day. Anything could happen. It's stressful. It is stressful.
I agree with this completely. Having a team and trying to lead an organization in multi-level marketing, when you're starting to figure out that it doesn't matter what you do, that in order for you to move forward, you have to recruit more and your team has to recruit. And you have to be okay with knowing that 99.7% of those people that are being recruited are not going to make money or are going to lose money according to the FTC. That is a heavy load to carry. Granted, when I was in, I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know anti-MLM was even a thing. And so it helped me to answer some of those things. I do also remember several times in several of the companies that I was a part of where they would say, well, there's two products. There's the products that you sell and the opportunity. And I told my team this, the opportunity is just another product. One, you get, a product that helps you with energy and focus and, all the other benefits of ketones that I used to say. And then the other product is they can do that, but they also earn money. But they don't earn money if they're not selling. So I see where she's coming from. I agree with what she's saying. I agree that there is no balance. It's all or nothing. It is all or nothing. You have to be completely in. And that's why it makes me so crazy. And a lot of other anti-MLM content creators, when they talk about time freedom, because we know that that's not the case. I know that's not the case because I lived it. I was a part of it. I was constantly staring at my phone. What she's saying is absolutely correct. When it comes to having a team, you have to be accessible 24/7. And if you're not, your team's probably not going to stick around. They're going to go to another company. I think that that's where we see these bridge contracts or these sales performance contracts that we know are happening in specific companies. You guys know what I'm talking about, is because they're not getting that time and the attention from their leader. And so they're like, well, I'm going to go over here and make more money. And they think they're going to go over to this other company and make money easier, but they're not addressing what's really going on. It's a temporary fix. It's a Band-Aid rather than treating the symptom being the MLM business model.
Period. Right? And it just creates this whole thing where let me tell you guys what gave me my wake-up call. I hope she gets on this live. Because she'll know who she is as soon as I tell this story. That was me. Influencer life is where it's at. You sell products and make. Yes. Yeah. And even in direct sales, you make the most off the products that you sell. Like, it just makes sense. But
that's not always the case. Direct sales is still multi-level marketing. This tells me kind of where she's at because I was where she was. I'm just going to focus on on selling the product. I remember having some of these same thoughts that she was having. Now I just see it on the other side because the filter I was looking through when I was in an MLM is very different than what it is now. So, yeah.
I had, back in like late last year, I had someone, and let me just tell you guys, I'm the only one saying this stuff. Everyone's thinking it, but no one talks about it. And that's what pees me off a lot. And just, it's like, no, I guess I'll roll with the punches because I'm always the one that has to do it. Everyone who, where was I going with that? Oh, there's a lot of people that are feeling it, whether they're presenting it to you or not, period. It's all about social media and what people choose to put out. This is what I choose to put out. And it ain't smart from a business sense. I still have a team. But I got on a opportunity call with a girl late last year. She had messaged me and she said, I'm really wanting to, I'm really interested in pomifera. She said, can we get on a Zoom call and can we talk more about it? And I've been in the business long enough to know that if someone's doing this, then they've been in it too, because that means that they're vetting an upline. That means that they've probably had a bad experience with someone they've joined under. So, back then I was team focused and I was recruiting focused. And I was like, yeah, is that the wrong one? It is. Oh no. Hold on, guys. I just put the wrong SPF on. It's my tan one and not my medium one. So, so she messaged me. She's like, can we get on a call? I want to ask you some questions. And I said, yeah. It's like, yeah, I can answer questions. I'm fine with that. So we get on this call, and she'd been in MLM before, which I had figured. She had never built a team or anything, but she had been in it. And I've always been an authentic person, like always. Like, I'm never going to lie to people, And she asked me a question that literally stopped me dead in my tracks. And I didn't even know how to answer it. I sat there and I was like, like knocked the wind out of me. She was like, this was a call that was probably lasted about an hour. We had a very good conversation because I'm not someone who will just talk about like business and things. Like, I'll talk about all the things. I have ADHD. You get me going and I'll just go and go and go. She's like, you seem like you're very authentic. And she said, you seem like you're very down to earth. She's like, I've never asked anyone this question because she said, I felt like it would be out of line to ask. And I didn't even know if anyone would be honest. And she said, I wanted to ask you. I'm like, okay. I said, shoot, like, you can ask me anything. She said, what's it like? And I'm like, what's what like? And she's like, what's it like being in the position you're in? Like, what's it like having a team that big? What's it like earning that money? What's it like being an executive? I've always wondered what it was like. Like, and the way she was asking me, it was like from a space of like admiration. And is that the word, admiration? I don't know. And literally it knocked the wind out of me because I immediately thought, it sucks. like I'm over here thinking, and she said, what's it like being a top enroller? Like all of that, walking the stage, the whole thing. And the first thought that came to my mind was, it sucks. And then I immediately thought, that's not okay. Like, that should not be the first thing that comes to my mind. And that's honestly what like set me on this little path of waking the heck up, is what I want to refer to it as.
I'm going to refer to that as cognitive dissonance. And she probably, in my opinion, was already having kind of thoughts of, God, this is not fun. A business is not always going to be fun, of course. Let's take YouTube. There's days where I'm like, I don't want to film, but I also know that this is my job. And even though I have days where I don't want to do it, I want to continue to educate. But she probably was having these moments where she was questioning little things, and this just opened it wide, like just blew the doors open. And she was like, well, this shouldn't suck. Like, I shouldn't feel that way when I'm on an opportunity call with a potential recruit. I also think that this is a great way to bring up the conversation about what is the word I want to use? How some of these top enrollers, top in sales are treated like celebrities. And when I say that, what I mean is, okay, wanting to get a picture with somebody at the event, but also from a corporate standpoint, I do think that when you have these people, and we've seen this, when you have these people that are bringing in, recruits, and they are selling a lot of product, they're at the top of their pyramid, there are going to be rules that apply to everybody else, and there's going to be rules that apply to the top people. We've seen this. I'm just going to keep moving forward.
Because it was like a punch in the throat. It was a punch in the throat. I was making great money selling products when I first started, and when I got sold into the recruiting mindset, and that was most important, I now have 10 times less customers and now rely on my team to make money. If I went back to do it again, I'd focus on sales more. Don't get me wrong, I love my team so much, but I'm being so, yes, Cassidy, thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much for commenting that, because I think you just explained that perfectly. And this is what makes it toxic, and this is what turns people off. Is I had this very good, I had a lot of conversations yesterday, and if you know, then you know. If you don't, then you don't. That's all I'm going to say about it. But I was on the phone all day yesterday, phone calls, text messages, chats, messages, just all day. And I had two conversations that really stood out to me and really resonated with me. And one of them,
I have to say this really quickly, because as I'm thinking about what she's saying, I'm trying to think of how I can, based on my experience, explain what she's saying. Anyways, when you are team building oriented, in my opinion, you're focused on yourself. You're focused on the income that you can make from growing a team, them ordering the products, having things on auto ship. You know, it is very much about you, your rank, moving forward, car bonuses, all of those things. And again, just my opinion. When you are customer focused, you are focused on the people coming to you looking for a product where you have some sort of a solution. And I think that this is where egos get out of control. I think this is where we start to see even more lifestyle type posts flexing with what they're buying, you know, what they're doing, those types of things. I think that the team building side is where egos start to really get out of control. Yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Or no, I had one of them today, this morning. We were talking, and she was just talking about how, you know, whenever I got into the industry, like, I seriously just tried this product. It blew my ever-loving mind. I wasn't part of the groups. I wasn't any of this. I wasn't all into any of that. I wasn't getting on the Zooms or anything. She said, it's just a product that blew my mind. And she said, and I started using it, and I wanted to keep using it. And she said, I just went on live one day, and I was like, look at this crap. Like, it's amazing. Like, look what it's doing. And she said, and I sold $7,000. And she said, and then I had people that just randomly joined because they wanted to sell it because they loved it. And then I was like, this is the perfect example of what it needs to be. Like, that's what it needs to be. Not this whole FOMO thing, not this whole, look at this, not the whole, you're going to make more money if you go here. None of that. Like, it really just needs to be, I'm amazed by this product. I'm going to go share it because the world needs to know about it. And if people want to join, then they'll join. But if not, then they don't, right? Like, I'm just here to share it.
I agree with this. However, I want to also add that you can do this and not support and not be a part of a multi-level marketing company. And the reason that I'm saying that is because even if you're a part of a multi-level marketing company and you're focused on the sales aspect and you just want to sell product, you're still participating in a model, in my opinion, that hurts other people. Whether you are recruiting or not, that model, the business, the company, it still hurts people. So I agree. I think what she's talking about is absolutely fantastic, but I think that we need to add some more words to the end of the sentence. You can sell the product. You can be focused on solely serving your customers. You can focus on those types of things, but you're still participating in a multi-level marketing company. You can do that outside of that company. There are so many people in multi-level marketing companies that think that the products that are offered are this life-changing thing. You can find dupes for almost everything. Literal dupes for almost everything. We've talked about this before on my channel, especially. They're typically cheaper for the customers, which means you're going to sell more. So I agree with what she's saying. I see where she's coming from. I think she's almost there. But let's remove the MLM company and just do it through affiliate marketing. If you're focused on just the product, find a dupe, get into affiliate marketing and do it that way. That's what I think. But God, she's right there, you guys.
And I think that's where it started. And I think the lines got blurred whenever people started to realize just how much money you could make with a team. Because I will not disregard the money that you can make. It's a lot of money. It really is.
It's a lot of money, and the bonuses for recruiting in the majority of multi-level marketing companies, whether it is written into the comp plan or they have different bonuses for that month or whatever, there is typically some sort of higher bonus for recruiting than comparing it to the sale of a product, the commission on the sale of a product. So what she's saying is absolutely accurate, because you're going to make more with recruiting. Then also you have the commission that you make off of your downline, off of your team volume and all of that stuff, car bonuses, pool bonuses, all of those things. That all comes from recruiting. So there's a ton of money to be made in the people business. And you guys know how I feel about that phrase, but that's what it is.
I've made a lot of money. Let me tell you something about money though. There's always more to be made. There's always going to be more money. There's endless amounts of money. And the money that you are so desperate to get to, once you get to it and you're there and you make it, guess what you do? You look around and you think, okay, I'm going to go make more. And then it becomes this vicious cycle. And it's not even fulfilling. What I realized whenever I started going to therapy and really working on myself was that it wasn't even money. And this is not just me, like this is everybody. On an unconscious level, like on a conscious level, you think it's money. On a conscious level, you think that it's money that you want consciously in our conscious brain. Unconsciously, it's not. On the unconscious level, what you want is you want to feel happy. You want the happiness that you believe those things are going to give you. You want the inner peace that you think money is going to give you, and it never comes. Because
the interesting part about this is I chased making six figures in Prove It for so many years. It was on my brain the second I woke up. It was on my brain when I laid my head on my pillow at night. It was something that absolutely consumed every second of my day. I wanted to make six figures, and there was a number of things that were happening at that time. In order to get in Eric's mastermind, I had to make six figures. And I will do a video later, probably on when I'm ready, on the grooming process and all of that, and kind of tell my story when it comes to that. However, as soon as I stopped focusing on it, and I, in all honesty, I was starting to question what I was doing and how I was going to walk away and what that meant, which took a very long time for me because I had spent so long in multi-level marketing, 13 and a half years, in case you're brand new to my channel. And as soon as I stepped away and just let everything go while I was trying to figure out how I was going to step away and do all of that, I made six figures. And I think it is so interesting that I was trying to white knuckle and hit these goals, and there's constantly the next income level. Okay, now that we did this, now we're going to do this. Now we're going to do this. This is the next goal. It's the next rank. It's the next. It's never enough. You never stop and go, okay, look at what we did. Like, this is amazing. And just kind of enjoy that for a little bit. There's always the next thing. So absolutely agree with what she's saying.
It's a materialistic thing. It's not, so I think that's where it all started with all of this. It started so simple. Industry started so simple. Companies had products that worked for people. Companies wanted people to sell it. People started selling it. And then people started realizing how much money you can make if you recruit. And then that's where the focus went, at the hands of money.
I agree to a certain extent with what she's saying. I don't think it started off simple. I think it started off knowing exactly what they were doing. Because if you go all the way back to Neutralite and you follow that story, if you've not read the book Ponzonomics, I highly suggest that you read it, because he talks about Neutralite and all of that stuff, and Amway, and it's really fascinating. In my opinion, based off of reading that book and several others, they knew exactly what they were doing. They're just trying to, when I say they, I mean multi-level marketing companies. I think that there's a reason that these companies choose to follow an MLM model, because they know exactly what they're doing. They know that there's going to be people recruited. They're aware of all of this, in my opinion. And so I don't agree with her in the sense that, oh, this all started very simple. No, it started very manipulative, in my opinion, from the very beginning, when the first multi-level marketing company was created, which was called Neutralite. So.
And the dream. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the dream. The dream, I work from my phone. I don't want to disregard that I've sold all of this, by the way. I've done all of this, okay? Comparison is a thief too. Yes, I've done all of this. And it's the dream. It's the, I work from my phone. I have time freedom, which I do. I want to make this clear. I do. It's the, I'm going on luxury vacations, which I have, and I'm thankful for. But whenever you sell people on that at the hands of recruiting, you can't make someone succeed to that level. And then it's like they join and they have joined on a mound of false promises. Does that make sense? Now, what I'm loving.
That is called a bait and switch, in my opinion. You're baiting these people to join your business and saying, listen, if I can do it, you can do it. But nobody on the team is doing what you're doing because you're at the top of your pyramid. So the lifestyle posts, the financial flex, like the other day I saw somebody that was like, I'm on my way to deposit 40K into my investment portfolio I don't even remember what it was. And I'm like, the only reason you're posting that is because you're trying to recruit people. Like, oh, look at me. I have an extra 40K that I can go and do X, Y, and Z with. You're trying to recruit based off of these financial flexes. It's very bait and switch. Oh, well, you can do this too. You can do this too. And then somebody comes into the business and they're like, all right, let's go. And they start showing up on all the Zooms, and they start, their whole language changes on social media. Their friends and family go, what is going on? Like, who is this? They never used to say stuff like this. They start wearing all the gear from the company, and it's like they become less of themselves, trying to bait and switch people into doing what they're doing. And yeah.
About what I'm seeing about the industry lately, like the changes I'm seeing, is that you can now earn these trips and you can now make a lot of money on sales alone. And I think that is a really dang good. It's manipulative. Absolutely. It's toxic. I mean, I'm not going to disregard it. It's 100% toxic. And I'm so thankful that's where it's headed, because I've seen this so many times. Y'all, like, oh, I'm so over it. So over it. If you talked to me within the past 24 hours, you know how over it I am. Just the whole, like, yeah. Let me gather my thoughts. It's hard to speak on because there's so much to like unpack. And if you're someone who's interested in this stuff, just like, let me know. Maybe I'll just do like a series, because I don't think I can fit it all into one video. Maybe I should just break it up according to topics. I do think it's important to be educated. And I'm not saying that the MLM industry is a bad industry to be in. I'm saying I believe in the model, but I'm saying it's flawed. And I'm saying that it's I don't want to say broken, but it has progress to be made. Elizabeth used to be on my team, and she just said, I feel so much better now that I've been out for a while. Yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's unpack that.
I don't agree with her here. I wouldn't say, recapping what she just said, I wouldn't say it's broken. It is broken. It's a model that has been designed to hurt people. And so this part I don't agree with, although I can appreciate the fact that she wants to continue to talk about it. I appreciate the fact that she is talking about it. I appreciate the fact that she is saying the quiet part out loud. I really love that. I really respect it too. I think that it's really, really powerful. But it just takes me back to a time where I thought I could do MLM different. I thought I could do network marketing different, but you can't. You can do social media different. You can do your live videos different, but it's still an MLM business model. It's still going to hurt people. Even if you don't participate in the recruiting aspect of the comp plan of the company, it's still hurting people. By the way, I am having some more of my birthday cake. It's the strawberry shortcake cake from Smith's. If you have a Smith's in your area, it is the best. Okay. All right. Let's keep it moving.
Here's where time begins to get stolen in MLM. It's whenever you are watching all of these trainings, and you are on all of these Zoom calls, and you are leading all of these challenges, and you are all up in these chats. And not only that, but you're trying to run your personal business. You're trying to sell products. You're trying to take care of your clients who trusted you enough to purchase products from you. Like all of, this looks so yellow. Why does it look so yellow on the screen? It's not like this in person. But as you can imagine, that's just like a total time suck, and no one has enough time to do all of those things. So that's what I'm saying whenever I say there's no such thing as,
it is a time suck. And at least the team that I was a part of before I left MLM, I think that how do I want to word this? I think that is a way that they love bombed people or love bomb people, because what happens is when you have somebody that's guest speaking, you take screenshots and then you tag them, and you're shouting them out, and it's all this beautiful, like positive, oh my God, this training was amazing. But when you really look at the training, and I'm not just talking about from my former team, I'm talking about from multi-level marketing, the company's industry generic trainings. When you really look at it, there's not, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. The training is a lot of inspiration. It's a lot of motivation. It's a lot of belief type training. It's not, this is how to run a business. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. It's a lot of very kind of gray area type. I don't even want to call it business training, because it's really about the person at a business training. You know what I mean? So the Zooms, they're all time sucks. In my opinion, it's to try and keep people around the campfire, like Jesse Lee used to say that all the time. I think Eric Worre says that too. It's designed to keep people around the fire, to keep them excited, to keep them motivated, to keep them working, because then everybody still gets, the upline still gets paid, right?
There's no such thing. Kayla, hold on. Don't get ahead of yourself. There's no such thing as balance between all of it. And I think that's what I finally had to accept. I had formed the unconscious belief that I was the problem, that I couldn't balance because I wasn't disciplined. I wasn't organized, whenever I'm actually very organized. But that was like the belief I had, because I seen other people that I thought were balancing, but they weren't. They just weren't talking about it. Right?
I think what she's trying to say is that when things weren't working, She thought it was her problem. You know, I wasn't organized enough. I wasn't creative enough. I didn't go live enough. These are just examples that I'm using. It's not necessarily what she's saying. But I think what she's trying to say is when things were not working, when I was feeling, you know, frustrated or whatnot, I think I know in MLM, there's so much victim blaming and shaming. Oh, well, it didn't work because you didn't work. Oh, it didn't work because when was the last time you attended a team training? When was the last time you attended a company event? When was the last time that you, whatever? There's so much victim blaming and shaming that's going on that when you are experiencing something, the frustration level, the lack of balance that she's talking about, you have been programmed, especially when you've been a part of MLM. She said 4 or 5 years, I think, at the beginning. You have been programmed that you are the problem. It's your lack of belief or your limiting beliefs. And that is how they keep people going. That is how they keep people around that campfire.
Right. Like they just weren't publicly talking about it like I'm doing now. And I thought that I was the problem and I couldn't balance, you know, and then whenever I finally realized, like, you know what, it ain't always my fault. You know, like I'm very hard on myself. And I had to accept that that was not me. Like it was not. My therapist is what made me, she's the person who made me realize this. Like she literally woke me up to it. She was like, she said, you understand that that's like 2 to 3 full-time jobs. And I'm like, you know what? Like you're right. Like it really is. Running your social media handles, growing a brand, growing a presence, taking care of your clients, that's one of them. And then teaching people how to do that on top of teaching people how to build their social media presence, like that's two. Like there's people who literally niched full-time businesses on these things. Like that's what they do full time. And it's like the expectations that people put on these people. And then the whole, you know, this is what I hate the most about it. It creates this environment where you don't feel worthy of your income that you earn off of your team.
Oh, I want to finish what she's saying. I have to finish what she's saying. You're not worthy of what you're receiving. And so you are constantly trying to prove your worth. You are constantly pouring into other people, like they like to say, like I used to say, you are constantly doing the most when it comes to your team. And it throws everything else even more off balance. And then you're exhausted and your cup is empty. I think that's where she's going with this, but I wanted to finish that sentence because I think that's exactly what's going on here.
Let me get this straight. You don't feel worthy of the income that you earn off of your team unless you hustle for them. Doesn't that sound so crazy? You don't feel worthy enough for the income that you earn off of your team unless you hustle for them. So then you think, for me to be worthy of this money that I'm making, I need to show up and I need to be the leader that they expect me to be. It's just like, you put it like that and it's like, when in reality, the reality of it is that you brought someone into a company to sell this company's products. You're going to make this company money and you deserve to be paid for it. Period. Doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a business person. I mean, if you influence someone to go and make a company money, I mean, in my opinion, you should be credited for that. I mean, I know companies don't do that, but I think that side of it makes sense. But it's just the smoke and mirrors, the leadership, you need to be a good leader. Your team's not performing because you're not showing up and all of this. And then it creates this environment where people feel like their team isn't performing because of them, when in reality, the team's not performing because no one's focused on the products.
I also think that this is the point where lots of front loading happens. When there is pressure on a leader in multi-level marketing and the team is not performing, meaning they're not selling, they're not recruiting. I think that this is where pressure comes in from the leader, from the upline, where front loading happens. So I think that's where people start ordering products under their, fake accounts and all of that stuff to try and boost their numbers. And this is I used to do this too. I'm not saying she's doing this. I'm saying what I'm about to say, I used to do as well. There were times where I was like, guys, here's where we're at. We're this many boxes away from, hitting this rank and this and that. And what would happen? I didn't have to say, hey, go grab a box, go order a box. It was the undue influence in that I would go and order under a fake account. Team members would go and order under a fake account, and it encourages front loading. The pressure of all of this mixed in with the undue influence, in my opinion, is like breeding grounds for front loading.
Everyone's just out here trying to build. The best way I can put it, MLM is not a pyramid scheme, but it can be in mindset. Man, that's good. MLM isn't a pyramid scheme, but it can be in mindset. Man, I'm gonna have to quote that one.
I appreciate what she's doing, but I don't agree with her. I think that MLMs absolutely can be pyramid schemes. And sometimes MLMers are like, oh, no, we have a product, so it makes us not a pyramid scheme, or pyramid schemes are illegal. When you have the majority of the distributors in the company are the customers, and the money is flowing up to the upline and to the company and to the CEO, that is a pyramid scheme. You can have products and it be considered a pyramid scheme. And the issue is that there's so many people that have these fake accounts that look like legitimate customer accounts that are funded by the distributor. That's a big, big issue. There is so much emphasis on mindset in multi-level marketing. In my opinion, what she's saying is she hasn't worked this out yet. She's still kind of that conditioning. And this is not me, like, I'm not hating on her at all. I appreciate this conversation. I think what she's doing is incredibly brave. However, I think this is where more work needs to be done to unravel some of that conditioning that's still kind of lingering. And I mean, she's still in an MLM company. So there's a certain amount of undoing the conditioning that can't happen if you're currently in a multi-level marketing company. And I think that this might be part of it, because this has nothing to do with mindset. If it's a pyramid scheme, it's a pyramid scheme. If it's a commercial cult, it's a commercial cult. There's a black and white definition of what that is, according to the FTC. So we can have our opinions on whether it is or isn't, but mindset doesn't have anything to do with it. This is what the FTC says. So I can appreciate that she's being vulnerable in this, and that she's saying, well, I think it's mindset. But to me, somebody that used to be into the thick of it, I think that, I know you guys just saying that just now. I think this is where she has some work to do, and that may or may not happen until maybe she leaves the company. And I think she would be incredible in affiliate marketing. That's just my opinion, though.
Business-wise, it's not, because that's illegal. But man, that's good. It's not a pyramid scheme in business, but it is in mindset. It can be in mindset. Because if you have the mindset of, oh, I'm going to make all this money if I recruit all these people, and blah, 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 and then they recruit people, and then yeah, like you have that mindset. But if you're just like, oh, nope, just selling products. Just here selling products. I have some friends that I want to talk about one of them. This was another one of the conversations I had yesterday that was a very powerful conversation.
Before she gets into this conversation, you can't just ignore parts of the business model. I know what she's trying to do. I think it's awesome. She's standing right there, you guys. She is standing at the point. but she's just not there yet. And I'm over here like, yes, you can do it. Like, you're right there. But you can't highlight one area of the comp plan in a multi-level marketing company and also just not acknowledge the other part. That like, it doesn't work that way. So I understand where she's at. I hope she gets out of her multi-level marketing company, because she's literally standing right there. I remember feeling like she is feeling currently. I remember all of that. I remember trying to work it out. I remember it took a very long time for me to process little by little, situation by situation. She's right there. You can't, the business model is the business model. That includes team building, and that includes selling a product. So if you're wanting to focus on selling a product, if you're an MLMer that's watching this, look into affiliate marketing. Then you can sell your product, whatever you are passionate about. Find a company that you can work with. It's not a multi-level marketing company, because they are getting kind of sneaky about, oh, well, we're affiliate marketing. No, you're not. It's a multi-level marketing model. Okay. Find some way to do affiliate marketing and roll with it that way, and then sell your products and enjoy it and love it and go crazy on social media. You don't have to worry about recruiting. So you can't just, well, I'm going to focus on this when this part is also a part of the business model. I hope that's making sense.
I texted her. I said, she's one of my very good friends. We have ran business. I love her for it. It's so interesting to see our differences. And I text her. I said, hey, how are you holding up? If you know, you know. And she was like, girl, I'm fine. She said, me and mine, we're just here selling products, dude. Like, we just really love these products. I'm not worried a bit. She said, I'm fine. I'm just going to go sell products. So I'm not worried about it. I said, man, such a big shift in focus, you know, like, instead of being so worried about what everyone else is doing and worried about all these things, it should be as simple as, nope, just here sell products that I love, you know, like, just here sharing, not going to get caught up in all this stuff. And I think what happens is, and this isn't towards like any one situation, I've switched companies like 3 times. And in my previous company, that experience was extremely traumatic for me. I know that sounds very dramatic, but my previous company was traumatic on many levels for me. I ended it with stress-induced shingles that gave me a corneal scar and took my 20/20 vision to 20/60 or 20/50, whatever it is. It's not good. It's like, y'all are blurry. And whenever I left that company, I left because I knew I wasn't aligned with it. I only joined for the hype of it. I seen all these people growing their teams, and this is my previous company. I've seen all these people growing their teams and posting about how many promotions they were having in their teams. And I seen all these shout outs, and I seen all these posts and all of this. And I thought, man, like, they know what they're doing. Everyone over there is progressing through the compensation plan. They must have something that my company doesn't, right? So I joined my previous company on that sole foundation of that FOMO, that fear of missing out, that, oh, wow, they're doing something different. Like, they're doing something good. I want to be a part of that. If you're in the industry, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And here's the thing. They're not really ever doing anything different. It's all the same. But what they put out on social media, for example, and I haven't talked about this company in a while, but there's somebody, one of the top leaders in Ariel. I'll link that card so you guys can check that video out as well. There are people, in my opinion, that prey on the exact trauma that she's talking about from this previous company. And they try to make it seem like they're not in a multi-level marketing company, but they're actively trying to recruit people that had a bad experience in their previous companies. And that's how they're doing that. I don't agree with that. I was pretty clear in the aerial video and all of that stuff that I don't think that that's okay. And I think that it's just another way to victimize people in a group of people that are being victimized already. Also, to add to what she's saying, this is an example of those like FOMO posts, lifestyle posts, those types of things. You know, you see pictures of the Zoom and they're like, 1,000 people on this Zoom learning how to change lives. And maybe the next company or the next team training that shows up in your stories, they say something similar. They're all doing the same thing. They're all doing the same thing. It's duplication, right?
So that was the intention I set whenever I joined. I didn't join for the product. I joined, again, previous company. It was a makeup company. I joined because I wanted to progress through the compensation plan. I joined because I seen everyone moving and I knew they must have had something great over there. And then I got all caught up in all the leadership things. And then I got in a situation where I lost an upline that was extremely influential to my team. If you know, it kind of all ties in. It's very interesting. But I lost an upline that was extremely influential to my team. And everyone around me went psychopath. It was a bloodbath. It was nasty. It was dramatic. It was everyone trying to recruit everyone. It was gross. It was not it. Because people were scared that this person was going to go to another company and take their team.
Because the money that you make off of these team members is so unreliable. I just wanted to add that. This is also where you see people suggesting, oh, well, this person is no longer a part of the team, so you may want to block them. Or this person needs to be blocked from all of the groups and this and that. And there's this very, it's fear mongering, you know, don't follow this person, but then like they'll be watching everything that you do and be blocking people that comment on your videos. It's absolutely insane. In a business world, in a legitimate business world, in my opinion, stuff like this doesn't happen. People leave companies all the time. They take new jobs. MLM is the only industry where this happens. It's wild. I believe everything she's saying as far as it being a bloodbath and people having this fear of, I don't know who to trust and who can I talk to and what's going on? Where did they go? Is she joining another company? And it's a complete chaos. And then you have the leader, like we just saw Brittany Rose do when Angelique left in that Zoom, that's damage control. So the people that were left from this scenario that she's talking about probably were in massive damage control. There was probably an emergency Zoom and so, and this is what's happening. And we wish her the best. But then behind the scenes, they're like, yeah, it's messy. It's really, really gross.
And I look back at that experience and that's what drove me to my shingles because I was scared to death that I was going to lose it all. And I look back at that experience, I'm like, what the heck was I even doing? Like, if I would have just been focused on freaking products, I would have been fine. In reality, I never aligned with that company. That wasn't who I was deep in my soul. Whenever I joined Pomifera, I joined for the right reasons, but I never gave myself time to process through some of that emotional manipulation I went through in my previous company. And I naturally brought some of those bad habits over with me. Whereas I really should have given myself enough time to process and heal. So whenever I came over, my team grew so freaking fast. And I was in a situation where I was like, oh my gosh, I've got this huge team. They're looking to me. They're looking to me because
this is an example, and this is not any shade to this person, but this is what we see happen. When you have somebody that was in leadership in previous companies, they go to another company, people naturally will follow them. And I'd venture to say that's probably what happened here. She joined another company. She probably went live. She started talking about the products and the company and the leadership and the comp plan and probably all of those things. Because from what it sounds like, she was still very much in that kind of team building intentions, if you will. I don't know. I don't know if that's how I want to word that, but that's how we're going to roll with it. And so I'd venture to say that she probably brought a lot of people with her from the previous company. And that's why she had such a big team so quickly. This is one of the things that we talk about in the anti-MLM genre, of people that move quickly through the ranks in a new company. That's what she's saying here, in my opinion.
Because of this opportunity and you know, all of this, and what do I do, and oh, I need to show up as the leader they expect me to be, and just all of this. And obviously these have been the only products that have changed my skin. I had terrible acne, like it was really bad, and pomifera has been the only skincare that keeps it away. Like truthfully, like nothing else works. And so I brought some of those bad habits over, like, with me, and kind of was doing things the same way. And then it was like last fall, I kind of had my wake up call, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm doing the exact same thing I ran away from. Like, I'm doing the exact same thing that, like, put me into a literal, like, my stress levels were so bad that I compromised my immune system. Like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this again? This doesn't even make any sense for me. And that's really whenever I started just reflecting and, you know, all of the things. And I don't know, like, I just feel like there's a lot of parts of it that are beautiful and wonderful and amazing. But I think there's a lot of parts of it that need to be worked on, you know? And I know a lot of people have just been so confused of like where I'm at. Because in my company, in pomifera, like I'm not, I'm influential, but I'm not like the biggest influence. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like overcredit myself, but everyone's like, did you leave? Like, you're posting anti-MLM stuff. And it's like, no, it's not anti-MLM stuff. It's facts. You can love an industry. Yes, pomifera is an MLM. What I'm talking about is like the different sides of MLM. You can love an industry and you can call it out on its crap. You don't have to like be so black and white. There's a gray area, and it's okay to talk about it.
I agree with what she's saying here, because one of the things that we know that multi-level marketing companies, and more specifically leaders, well, some of the CEOs do too, is it is very us versus them. It's very, very black and white. So anybody that disagrees with anything that has to do with the leader, the company, the products, whatever, is a hater, is somebody that they're just, don't listen to the anti-MLMers. What I find refreshing is she's like, listen, I'm going to talk about the hard stuff. And if you want to do your own research and, you know, check out anti-MLM, then go do your own research. I love that about this whole conversation. I think it's really powerful. And it's really interesting for people to be like, hey, are you still in this? Because the way that she's talking about this is not like most MLMers who are, you know, very us versus them, very information control out of the bite model kind of energy, if you will.
And if your upline or someone else tells you that that's being negative, or they tell you that, you know, whatever, that's going to hurt your business, it's like, that's not okay. You know, it is what it is. I value honesty, whether it's a smart business move or not, period. The truth of the matter is, if you want to come into this business model and you want to make a heck of a lot of money, you need to absolutely love what you sell. And you need to focus on that. And by doing so, you will eventually attract people who also love what they sell. Focus on growing your social media presence. Focus on growing your brand. The more you grow your brand, the more you grow in your social media presence, if you're social media heavy, the more clients you will have, the more people you will meet. You know, you'll attract your people. And that's my advice to everybody, is just stop focusing on things that don't matter. Like, it's just, so every time I go to yoga,
I have to pause this again because she's basically describing affiliate marketing. And you can do all of those things that she's talking about through affiliate marketing. You can build your brand, you can build your social media, you can do all of those things without participating in a multi-level marketing company. I'm hoping that she gets out of this. I hope that she finds a product that's not an MLM product that replaces what she's doing or who she's working with, because I think, like I said earlier, I think she'd be an incredible affiliate marketer for sure.
We set an intention like at the beginning of class. And this was my intention for seriously, like normally you would change it like every day. I did not. I kept the same intention for months. And my intention was, I am getting off of the hamster wheel, because that's what it is. It's a hamster wheel. And I felt like I was just on it, and it was just rolling, and it was just rolling, and it was just rolling. And again, I think you can love an industry and be passionate about it. And I think that you can also talk about the bad sides of it. And it does have bad sides. I think it's all in the intentions that you set whenever you join it. Me and Tammy talk about this all the time. So Tammy down here, she's one of my best friends. She does pomifera too. And she is actually the one who introduced me to this new foundation I'm wearing, which I'm seriously obsessed with. And we were talking about it. And whenever she joined the foundation company, she was just like, I don't want a team. I just love this foundation. I just want to sell it. I just want to talk about it. She has had a time of her life and has sold so much and made so much money, doing so. And I'm like, you see the difference in focus, whenever you're like that, instead of like, look at me, guys, I got this brand new shiny opportunity and you're going to make so much more money and our compensation plan's amazing and everyone's enrolling and everyone's advancing through the Let me tell you guys, I'm going to wake you all up to something. In the beginning, everyone has that energy. Everyone's selling. Everyone is on that high energy. Those numbers are high. That paycheck, that money is high. That is fleeting energy that does not last. It doesn't. Give it 90 days. It's a 90-day period. Give it 90 days. And after those 90 days, come back to me.
Absolutely agree with what she's saying. And that's why many of these companies have a fast start program that's 90 to 120 days, because they want to show you quick money, because the energy that she's talking about, you're very high energy, you're excited about it, it's something new, it's easy for you to talk about, and then people feel that excitement and they reward you with a little bit more income than what you're actually going to be making after the 90 days. So there are people that are like, oh my gosh. And I remember thinking this with Prove It in the first few weeks. I was like, oh my gosh, I've already replaced the income that I made from Modere. This is insane. And then the reality hits for a lot of people after that fast start time period. And they go, wait, how was I making this, $2,000? And now all of a sudden I'm making, half of that. How does that work? It's because of the fast start program. It's because there absolutely is a 90-day thing where, just like she said, come at me, come talk to me after your first 90 days. Let's see how excited you are about the money that you're making. Yeah.
And let me know how it's going, because it's the truth. So anytime you see all of this, just like, don't join companies just because everyone else is joining them and everyone's talking about how much money they're making and how much more they're making and all of this. And it's like, don't do that. Like, join because you genuinely love their products. And if I were you, this is the advice I would give myself. If I could go back 5 years, honest to God, if I could go back 5 years and give myself advice as someone who has done this industry as a full-time income for the past 5 years, what I would tell myself is don't get involved in any of it. Go follow people who will teach you, follow people on Instagram who will teach you how to grow your Instagram following, Go follow people who will teach you how to take care of, customer service. You know,
Dad, we love some self-awareness. I love some self-awareness. This is beautiful. This is incredible. If I could give myself advice 13 and a half years ago, a little bit longer now, I would tell myself, just like she said, not to get involved. She means it in a little bit different way. I mean it like, don't get involved in a multi-level marketing company. And I would have, the advice that I would give myself is, you are very creative. Find a way to make extra income that taps into your creativity. And I would have, that's what I would tell myself before joining an MLM, because there have been far too many people that took advantage of my time, energy, and creativity and got paid off of it. And so stepping into affiliate marketing now, I don't even know that that was a thing in 2007. However, that's the advice that I would give myself. She's coming from a place of follow the people that are going to help you, help you support customers around selling a product. I want to also add, hey, follow people that are going to show you how to do affiliate marketing. Find some reputable courses that you can purchase that are going to teach you how to set everything up, and companies and stuff like that. You can find it on TikTok, you can find it on Instagram. Follow those people versus getting started in an MLM. Although she's meaning it in a different way, obviously, because she's currently in a multi-level marketing company. Although this conversation is incredible.
Don't get involved in the coaching calls and the Zooms and the challenges and just all of that. Just don't. That's the advice I would give myself. Just don't. Pay attention to what the company is doing, because they're going to let you know whenever you're getting new products. They're going to let you know whenever something new is coming out, and you need to know that for your clients and your following. But the advice I would give myself is be loyal to your following first. Be loyal to your clients first. And if you build a team along the way, then that's okay. But set the intention with them from the start that you're not going to lead them to anything, that you're literally just a business partner, and you'll answer the questions the best that you can on your own time. But you can't give them anything. Set those expectations and those intentions out. That is the advice I would give myself going back 5 years if I could. 100%. 100%. That's the advice I would give myself. And I think whenever you're deeply in it, I think whenever you are in that mindset, that like hustle mindset, that hustle, that team, that Zoom, the Zooms, the challenges, the calls, whenever you're in that, and if you're in it right now, nothing I'm saying right now is even going to matter to you, because it didn't matter to me whenever I heard it from someone back then. I truly believe that, oh man, what's the best way I can say this? I truly believe that your perception of things heavily depends on where you're standing. So good.
God, the self-awareness in this. So she's a couple steps ahead of people that are full into recruiting. That's what she's saying. She's like, hey, listen, here I am. This is my perspective. And she's speaking to people that are experiencing cognitive dissonance in some way, shape, or form. There are going to be people that are like, nope, I don't care. I'm not listening to it. She's like, and I know that you guys are watching this, but she's also speaking to people that are like, hey, if you're feeling like I am, it's kind of like how I talk about seeing Roberta's TikToks and talking about front loading and all of these different things. And I was like, I'm not listening to that. And it made me angry. I was angry. This conversation that she's having is probably sparking a lot of emotions for a lot of people, which is a beautiful thing, because they're angry or they're having these types of feelings because they're experiencing cognitive dissonance, just like she's been experiencing. That's why she's like, okay, I'm just going to do this different. I've been there. I understand what she's doing. And this is really powerful. And but she's still kind of not there yet. I don't know. This is really cool. Like, this is so, like, when I watched Isabella react to this and how she's like, this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. Because when people speak up like this in multi-level marketing companies, they get shunned. They get, exiled from the kingdom, if you will, because she's basically speaking out in a sense against the multi-level marketing company, against her upline in a sense, because you, like I said earlier, you can't just pick and choose parts of the business model. You're still participating in the business model, but she's like right there. I don't know. This is fascinating.
So good. Someone said I should be a life coach. I should probably scroll back after that comment and speak on that. Your perception of things heavily depends on where you're standing. So if you would have told me this 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I would have been, from a business sense, I would have been like, well, that's dumb. That's not how business works. But now I'm like, I wish I would have listened. So I think it very heavily depends on where you're standing. And, again, I love MLM. I think it's a good model. I think it makes sense. I think it gets blurred and things get really nasty whenever the model is heavily focused on just that recruiting. I've gotten to the point where I can look at a comp plan and I can see like where the focus is. Because I am a very like analytical, business-minded person. If you've worked with me in business, you know that. Like, I see things differently. And I'm to the point now where like I can look at compensation plans and I can see exactly like what their motive is. And I think whenever you're in a company that's very like recruiting heavy, that pushes you to just recruit, and that's the focus. That's where you're going to see more of like the whole team stuff. But if you're in a comp plan that's very heavy, like sales focused, that's whenever you're just going to see a lot of people selling. It's amazing. Something that drives me absolutely freaking batty, and I get this all the time, is whenever someone will message me and try to recruit me, rightfully so, go ahead and try it. Ain't gonna work, but okay. But someone will message me and try to recruit me into their company. I'll go to their profile. I don't even know what they're selling. I'm like, what company are you even with? Like, I can't even find anything about your product. And that's the perfect example of the different focuses. Like, I should be able to go to your profile and immediately know what you represent and what companies you love. Like, it shouldn't take me 2 hours in the scroll hole trying to find what you sell, and it's those situations where I can automatically tell who's sales focused and who's recruiting focused. And that's just a good little tidbit to take on your way. I might regret this live later. I don't know. Who knows? I'll just see how.
We're actually going to stop that here because this video is very, very long, but she's made some really great points. I don't agree with all of them. However, I do agree with the majority of them. I just don't think that you can be a part of a business model that is recruiting people where most people are losing money or not making any at all, again, according to the FTC, and also just focus on the selling of a product. I think that there are alternatives than participating in an MLM business model. But let me know what you guys think about this. This is part 1. Part 2 will be coming out later this week. I think this is a really, really, really important conversation to have. Shout out to her for having this conversation and being brave and saying the quiet parts out loud. I think this is really powerful. I do hope that she gets out of MLM. I'd love to see her do life coaching, like she just mentioned, or one of the comments in her video. They mentioned her doing life coaching. I love how self-aware she is. And I really do genuinely hope that she gets out of the MLM company, because I think that she has a very powerful voice that can help a lot of people. Not even just becoming anti-MLM. I'm just talking in general. So you guys let me know what you think. And if you loved this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, feel free to subscribe. Would love that. I have memberships. Yes. So shout out to you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll chat with you later. Bye, everybody.